I don't know. I think that, I started out as car owner driver, even in the late model. I was building my own engines at 16. I should say assembling them. I didn't have a machine shop, so I wouldn't actually do machine work, but assembling the motors and checking all the clearances and adjusting everything and putting the motors together. And I love the mechanical end of race cars too, as well as driving it. So we just did everything. And then when I got the sprint car, I did the same thing. We bought a car off of Bob Christian, an old Shores car, and we took it apart and then figured out how to put it back together and worked on the car. And so that, that was a fun part as well. But probably my biggest mistake really was probably driving for other people. And the reason that is, I mean, if you're going to make it in racing, unless you have a lot of money, you're probably going to have to drive for other people. But it just tended to suck a little of the fun out of the racing for me. I mean, when I was owner and driver, I couldn't get fired, and I could go race when I wanted to race, where I wanted to race, as long as we could afford it. And so there was a lot of things that were good about that. The bad things about that was when you crashed it, you paid 100% of the bill. But it just, when you're driving for somebody else, there's just a whole lot of increased pressure to do well, because two or three bad races, they just, tend to jerk you out of the seat and put somebody else in. I mean, drivers are pretty disposable to car owners sometimes. And so I'm not sure how much loyalty there is there, and definitely a lot of pressure to perform. So I think my best years was when I just drove my own stuff and did my own stuff, and we just tended to have a little more relaxed and enjoyed the racing a little bit more.